thought we would take this time and just really spend some time with your questions, not on any really certain topic, but all topics are on the table today. It's good to have you here, Patrick. Welcome here. I know we've got lots of stuff going on. We're doing this webinar a day early, so thanks for arranging your schedule.
Yes, Eric, this is, I think, a good thing to do from time to time is take some of the key questions that people have asked about the medical billing business and, just address them straight head on. And then, of course, take live questions. I see some coming in already there in the question box. So let's get started. I think that people don't realize that this business, even though we've been doing it for 20 years, is just now like, wouldn't you say there's a window of opportunity in 2015, Eric?
Yeah, there is a huge window of opportunity, I think, not only for our 2015, but actually, Patrick, if we think about it, over the next 5 years. And the reason I say that kind of a window and that kind of a length of time is because so many doctors are on certain systems right now, and it's going to take them a little bit of time to transition over.
Yeah, it's a huge change for the doctors, and that's why I wrote the article that you just showed there from the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. It's all about the change that's coming down the pike that makes for a window of opportunity. Change is always an open door to opportunity of some kind. It depends on where you're at and whether you're positioned correctly. We just happen to be in the right business at the right time in history, I think, for people to make a good go of their own business.
Well, you're showing on the screen right now the way that you can communicate with us, those that are on the webinar today. And there's already some questions that are already coming in, so we certainly encourage you to start typing your questions. And Patrick, even before we get to that first question that we have listed there, let's go straight to Michelle's question. It actually is a great question. She's asking, can you go a little bit more in depth on the cloud-based system?
Yes, Michelle, that is something that a lot of people can't even wrap their brains around. And now I don't know where you're at and you're thinking about the cloud system, but just like Amazon has its cloud and Apple has its cloud and Google has its cloud and IBM has its cloud, this is the future, right? All of the data is being stored up in what they call the cloud, which is just a word meaning it's somewhere on somebody else's physical hard drive server in some location somewhere in the world. And so ours happens to be a cloud-based system, which means you can access our billing system and our electronic medical records from any computer in the world that has access to the internet. Literally, you don't even have to have an app. Ours runs right through any browser on any computer, and you can log in from anywhere as long as you have the right password and credentials to get into our system.
And this helps because, Patrick, so many people ask about the system. They're wondering, will they have to keep up with the billing system? Will they have to, what about upgrades, these different codes that might come updated? Do they need to maintain that themselves?
Well, that's the difference between a cloud-based system and a server-based system, which is literally software that resides on the hard drive of a computer somewhere, yours in your office, the doctor in his office, or wherever. The disadvantage to that, of course, is that data can be destroyed fairly easily if the computer crashes or if a thief steals it. It can break all kinds of rules of HIPAA privacy for your patient's data that's on there. With the cloud, you don't have to worry about that. You don't even have to worry about updating the software and the codes. That's all done behind the scenes by our technology that resides in the cloud. So every time you log in, literally, you're looking at the latest version of the software, and you never have to download anything or install anything. All the codes are updated constantly. So you are using the latest version of everything.
I think that's one of the best portions about this particular business, because I believe at one time, one of the platforms that we had here at American Business Systems, the software came on a disk, and that those had to be shipped out to you, and any updates or any upgrades, that was all at the responsibility of that medical billing company, and not anymore. So, Patrick, we're getting lots of questions that are coming in. And
I actually saw another one there by Bob, and he was asking about the security of that data. So let me address that just for a moment. Very important that you guys realize that our system is HIPAA compliant. That means that the government has looked at our system and said, the way you handle the data, the way you back up the data, the way you protect your data from hackers, that's all compliant with our guidelines and rules. Folks, we've never had any data failure at all in our 20-year history. So all the data is backed up on a regular basis. It's what's called redundancy. We have servers that have the data on them. As soon as you put in a claim, it's on that server, but it's also redundantly on a second server in another location in the United States. So that if one server completely goes down or a bomb blows it up, doesn't matter. We switch instantly and transparently over to the other server, and so we've always got redundant data.
That's it. And again, folks, this is one of the most simple parts of the business. I think a lot of people ask about what some of the harder things, and actually, this is a great question even from Rich. What is the number one obstacle or concern of a startup licensee?
Oh, well, that's pretty simple, isn't it, Eric? Yeah.
Getting our first clients.
That's right. I ask people in the class, for example, when will this business actually be real to you? And they all say, oh, it's when you get your first client. Well, actually, it's when your first check clears the bank and you've made your first deposit of a check from somebody. But that is correct, that the hardest part, Rich, of not just this business, but any business that you get into is, how do I get clients, people who will pay me to provide the service or product that I have? Well, it just happens that we've spent 20 years figuring that out.
And that goes along with that whole question of really tying in the first question from Michelle about the cloud-based system. It's not the system that's the most difficult, neither is the dealing with the medical codes. That's not necessarily the hardest part of it. It really is working and letting us help you get that first client.
Yeah, we've developed at least 10 different ways to market to doctors. Now, folks, there are hundreds of ways to market products and services. You can look at my library behind me. Most of these books are on marketing. But you only need a handful, well, 2 handfuls, about 10, that we cover in our live training workshop that teach licensees how to duplicate our success over the years. We have just figured it out. Now, there's nothing magical about any of it. They're practical ways of marketing that you've probably heard of in the past in different. There's no new things under the sun, so to speak, but it's the way we teach licensees to utilize those methods that help them get clients. Some licensees will get their first client within the first 30 days. We've had them get them in the first week, haven't we, Eric? But more likely than not, it's maybe over 30 to 60 to 90 days even. Folks, it doesn't matter, because this is such a profitable business. Once you do get a client, it doesn't matter if it took you a year to get that client. That client is going to earn you a couple of $3,000 a month for the rest of your life. So it's well worth whatever it takes to get that first client.
Patrick, I know that we're going to kind of jump around, but Steve is asking a question here about, can they do this from a part-time basis?
Yes, in fact, we had one of our instructors who started out by working. She was working 50 hours a week in a little cubicle that she worked in, had been there for 20 years as an IT person. She decided she wanted to start her own business. Well, Eric, as you know, Bonnie actually got out there and built her business part-time outside the 9 to 5 hours that she worked at her regular job. So, yes, we have ways of building this thing part-time. And folks, let me be serious with you. If you haven't figured out a way for you to actually get into your own business, you've got to start thinking about that seriously right now. That pink slip is going to come at some point. There is no security in the job that you think you have right now.
You know, I've got a good friend of mine that we go to church with, and he's been working for a very, very large company, 20 years, and he just recently told me that things don't look that great there. And certainly if I said the name, everybody would certainly recognize it. But you know, security at a job nowadays is no longer security. I think there's much more security whenever you can work for yourself and you can find a way to do that, and then you be the master of your destiny here as you're moving through sometimes some troublesome times in the economy. I mean, I know that, Patrick, we've just gone through, all of us, have gone through some economic times here, and here at ABS, we have not dipped or anything else. We've actually increased in ours just simply because of the field of medical billing, the whole revenue cycle management, just because we're in
healthcare,
this.
right? I mean,
yes.
It's in the news all the time. Everybody goes to a doctor at some point in their lives. It's huge industries. 1/6, I think, about to be 1/5 of our entire economy. And so, no, there's no better industry to be in, I don't think. Even the food industry, that's a lot more work and risk than there is getting into the healthcare business. Okay, so Eric, let's see. I see a question here from Kerry. He says, is it possible to review the contract before attending the training? Of course.
Absolutely.
Tell him how to get that?
Yeah, well, first of all, just contact your ABS rep. They'll be happy to send you the PDF of that. That can get emailed to you right away. I mean, so Kerry, just get a hold of whoever you're dealing with, and they'll actually be very happy to get that to you, and you can review it this afternoon. Very good.
Bernetta says, where can I get the brochure for ABS? I missed that part. Eric, let me, while you're answering maybe the next question, I'll go back and find that slide that shows them how to get to the virtual brochure.
Absolutely. And while he's doing that, Mike looks like has a great question because we were dealing with the web-based cloud version of our iClaim and EMRX. As a question, what does the doctor what happens if their internet goes down during business hours? Dave, I mean, Mike, you'll find to be not very often does internet go down as much as we used to think that it would go down. I'm in a rural part of the Fort Worth area.
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Here I am on internet. Actually, my landline, which is a copper wire landline, has failed, and my internet is still going. Thank goodness I can talk through the internet here. But I certainly don't diminish your question here. What doctors can do to have the sort of what we would call a backup is just to have like a little hotspot, and they can create that with their iPhones or with whatever else they may be doing. But in most cases, if the internet's gone down, it's because the electricity has gone down, and at that point, they're really not doing much anyway. So, Mike, it's a great question that's been asked several times about what do they do.
Usually we get that question from somebody who is in an area where their internet goes down pretty often. But here's the answer. First of all, this little device right here, I can plug into I can basically hook this up to my computer and then connect any device in my house to the internet. It connects directly to the satellites up there in the cloud, right? Same way with my phone. My iPhone actually has what Eric just referred to as a hotspot on it. When I turn that on, now I can connect my computer through my phone to the cellular system, which has access to the internet. So you could never be without internet connection in today's world. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and if it gets down to a push and shove, I mean, certainly, Mike, the doctors will use the old-fashioned way of doing it. Just write it down, use a super bill in a counter form. They'll fill it out and they'll get it to us. So.
Yep. Okay. Well, Eric, what do you think? Should we go to the real some other questions that we've gotten even emailed to us before this webinar started?
Yeah, but you were going to answer Vanetta's question about
yes.
how she can get the brochure. There you go.
Right. Just go to our website. It's up at the top of the screen there, Vanetta, and you'll see this little button up here, request more information. Now, when you click that, you will actually be taken to a screen that lets you, fill out some information, and then we give you access. This is the virtual brochure, so there's no printed. We're a paperless business, right? So we went virtual. All the information you need about our business. There's video testimonials, demonstrations of the software, and all kinds of good stuff that you see here on the screen in this virtual brochure.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll find out that virtual brochure is going to answer, if not all your questions. Certainly, we know that you need to engage with us. There's really what happens through here. It actually really brings you into the medical billing world, and therefore it's going to start getting you some more questions. So please take the time to go through that, and then call your rep, man. We're here to help out at every level that we can help you out here.
Eric, I know we've got some questions that we put into some slides that are from people that have emailed to us, but I also feel obligated. These people are live on here right now asking great questions. Michelle, for example, says, how do you target clients? Is there a lead system per licensee area? So let's talk about that just for a moment, Eric. We've had people in the past ask, well, are there lists of doctors and things available that you can give to me as to who to go to in my area? Well, yes, there are. But folks, it goes way beyond that. I mean, we could tell you to go to, the internet and places that you can find lists. But the most important thing is who should I be targeting? Who are my target markets? Not just every doctor out there you would probably want to target. There are some doctors that are specialties that really fit our system even better than others. So part of what we train in our live workshop is what is it, Eric, about maybe a dozen different specialties that we say, here are the best ones that you should start with.
Yeah, I think let's talk about that list thing again, because I think certainly that's, again, it kind of goes back to the question that was asked earlier. I believe that was by Rich. What's the number one obstacle? We've kind of talked about getting that first client. Let's talk about list, because we get that question asked quite a bit, and we really haven't addressed that much here lately, but let's talk about it in the fact that if we were to provide a list of people, Patrick, that list, as soon as we hand it to someone, is already old.
Yeah.
Because that means that some doctor was looking for a medical biller. This list got created, and all of a sudden, by the time that if we were to give that to one of our licensees, that doctor's already moved on. So because we've tried that before, that just doesn't work. So here's what the best thing that we can do for you, and that is, number one, provide you that week long of training to teach you, as Patrick has already said, how to work your markets, your warm markets, how to pull all of this together, and then get those individuals to what we say is the clincher, which is get them to a live demonstration of the software. Now, this is where ABS really partners with you in helping you get that first client. Patrick, how often and how many times will we do a demo for a licensee?
Oh, it's daily. I mean, unlimited as far as the number of demos that we'll do for a licensee. And
right.
Folks, try to picture this. We're using technology to do these demos similar to what you're seeing right here. That is, we have a way of connecting to the doctor's computer, your computer if you're at your office, for example, and our technicians are on there showing live our technology. Why? Because we want the doctor to see that there is a huge difference between what our licensees do and what any other medical billing company out there in the world can do. And Eric, we're closing, as you know, about half of all those demos that we show. The doctor moves forward with the licensee and signs up as a client. So it's an invaluable marketing tool that we've given to our licensees.
Yeah, and again, because we're not trying to sell them the software. I know that you and we kind of get captivated sometimes about our software,
yeah,
because it actually leads to getting clients.
Right.
And sometimes you and I get excited about what it can do. We fail to really convey the message. It's the software that actually does the collecting of the dollars and in getting that money to the doctors quicker, because of some very unique things that happen inside that software. So it's unique. It's a huge differentiator. We won't go into the details about it, except for what we want to share with you is that we can take a doctor that was normally getting paid within 30 to 40 days, get it down to 7 to 10 days.
That's right. So basically, let me summarize the question about leads and so forth. Folks, we teach you. We don't just give you a fish, we teach you how to fish. We're going to show you how to build your own list of prospective clients in your area and how to work that list with automated follow-up systems that promote the name of your company and keep your company in the top of their mind, so that when they do decide to outsource their billing, they think of you and not anybody else in the area.
Patrick, as I'm rolling through some of these questions, there's one down here that I think is real important. I want you to answer.
Yeah.
And this is from Astrid, and Astrid is asking the question: is ABS financially stable? You answer that question, and we can answer. He's got another question to go along with that. But let's first of all talk about the stability of American business systems.
And this is a great question. He goes on to say, I know it's a private company, but what happens if ABS goes out of business? Will the technology partners continue to maintain the software? So this brings in this whole question of why ABS we're good at what we do. That is, we train and support people on how to build a profitable medical billing business. But folks, we're not technology company. We partnered with other technology companies that provide the technology. So for example, through our software, we do thousands of claims every day for hundreds of doctors from coast to coast. And we make money on each one of those claims, as do our partners. So nobody's going to go out of business. If we did go out of business, basically what you do is you lose access to me and Eric doing these great webinars each week. And otherwise, your technology partners are partners with you. When you come through our live training, we'll introduce you to those partners. There's about 8 different technology partners we have. We put you in contact with all those people, and now you're partners with them. So it doesn't matter if we go out of business or not. That's the great part about it. Now, let me compare that to there is a company who does something similar to what we do. That particular company owns their own software, and they let you go out and set it up through any clearinghouse you want to. If that company went out of business, you'd be in trouble. Right. You'd be up a creek without a paddle. Why? Because the technology they own, and they literally would shut down, and you wouldn't have access to anything. You wouldn't be able to get anything. With ours, folks, that goes on, and that data, the patient data, is yours. It belongs to you and the doctor that's your client. And so you have access to that at any time you. In fact, Eric, can't they just download all that data anytime they want to, right to their computer?
If they can, absolutely they can.
Okay. Well, about the company itself and the financial stability, I really should address that. And that's a real simple one, folks. As a privately owned company, just like Hershey's and a lot of other companies that are big out there that are family-owned private companies, we don't reveal the financial information of the company itself. We do have a letter, if you'll ask your ABS rep, from our attorney that assures you that we are, number one, never have been in debt, are completely a cash business, and we've never filed bankruptcy, and we don't owe money to anybody. We've never had to borrow money. So it's a very profitable business for us as a company, and it's a family-owned business, which means it's going to be around another 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah, because you've got good young blood coming up through here, so
you're at least 10 years younger than I am. My son is 35, so it should be around a while. Okay, those are great questions, though. See, Eric, we couldn't have thought up these questions. These are better questions.
We had questions ready to go in case a few people were a little nervous about asking us questions, but we're doing great here. And Gene asked basically the same question: what would happen if ABS went out of business? And so, Gene, hopefully we answered your question there, along with Astrid's there as that. Kenyatta, I hope I said your name correct, is what is the starting fee? Let's talk about the fee and maybe even what it covers too as well, Patrick.
Yes. The licensing fee is $24,990. In other words, let's round it up. It's $25,000. But it's a one-time lifetime fee. Now, folks, that's important that you grasp that there's never any further fees that you ever pay to ABS. It's kind of like a franchise fee. That's always a one-time thing, right? You never pay that again. The difference is a franchise has royalties. That's a percentage of your profits that you pay to them every single month. With us, you never pay us another dime. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't make money on an ongoing basis, though, because we set our model up so that we've partnered with these technology partners for them to give us a few pennies on each transaction on the back end. Because we have volume that we bring to the table, our pricing is actually better than you could get going directly to any technology partner because we can negotiate good pricing. And they still have built in for us a few pennies on that as well. That's a good thing. You make money, you get clients, you do transactions, we make money, we stay in business.
And let's talk about all that it covers at 25,000.
Oh my goodness, where do I begin? I don't even know. Do I go to the website maybe? Maybe we should just go to the website and show that. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, let's just talk it through just real quickly. I mean, it covers, number one, it's going to cover your training fee, and that's the week-long live training. However, training doesn't stop there. Training continues to keep going on because although Patrick and I are doing a live webinar for for you as a a potential licensee of ours, we're always doing licensees to actually help out with our webinars to help our licensees continue with their continued training. But go ahead.
Yeah, here's the website. You guys can see up at the top. Let me make this a little larger here. There's the business package tab at the top. How much does it cost is right here, and what is included. You can go to what is included and see all the different services and technology that's included in the package. Then there's a little bitty link right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's right here. I'm circling it there with my mouse that says see all the marketing materials described here. When you click that, you will actually see a list of all of the different pieces of our package that's shipped out to you when you actually sign up with us. Now, our real value, of course, is in the live training. You see that listed there as well. We show you all the topics we covered during that training. It also includes lifetime support. So, folks, that one-time lifetime fee of $25,000 goes to lifetime support. As long as you're an ABS licensee, you can pick up the phone, you can live chat us, you can email us anything, anytime for any support in any area.
Yeah, and while you've got that up there, most folks can see that we're dealing with medical billing, and I want to address a question that's come in here from Al, because the question is, and we get this asked quite often as well, is the ABS software designed to work with dental professionals? I assume dentists have billing codes also. Is that correct? Yes, Al, they do have codes, but they are not the same as medical codes. And as Patrick's kind of showing right there underneath the iClaim portion of it, we're dealing with what's called ICD-9s and the CPT codes that have to do with medical codes, not dental codes. So dental billing is separate. It's completely, we do have a solution for that. However, if you think about it, not everyone, and when I say everyone, I'm talking about the general public, has dental insurance, whereas most other people do have medical insurance of some sort, even if it's Medicare or Medicaid. So the dental billing is a completely separate thing, and we can certainly talk with you offline more about that, but we concentrate on the medical billing side of it.
Yeah, we don't want people to be unfocused. And folks, it's just like hospital billing. That's not something that you want to get involved in. Most hospitals have their own huge system and staff to do that. There's all kinds of things you could get diverted to, right? So we try to keep you focused on the medical field, which is where the money is. I tell people, Eric, once you've signed up all the doctors in your area, then go after the dentist.
There you go. There you go. Gene's asking another question about, do you have any other software besides iClaim? And I think, Patrick, you're kind of showing that really right now.
Yes.
You have iDocs now, which is a piece of software that does web-based document management. All the other services that we have along there are software-based type of solutions. So yes, we have several different solutions that are software-based.
Yes. All right, let's see here.
Here's a great question from Dave. Dave's asking a question, can I see the doctor's presentation after the webinar? That is a great question. That is whenever one of us here at ABS will be happy to do a demonstration of the software just the same way that we would present it to a doctor. So Dave, get with your ABS rep here as well and schedule a demo with you. We'll be happy to go through that with you.
Yeah, you'll see that live, and it's usually presented, isn't it, Eric, as if this is what we would be doing for you, for your doctor who are prospective clients. So you see it from that aspect of it.
Yes.
Carrie says, can the software be used to bill home healthcare businesses?
It can, however, home health care has some special needs to go along with that. And if you need software for home health, we can actually help assist with that. The medical, it's a little bit, sometimes when you're thinking about all the different specialties, yes, home health care can be covered because it's a CMS 1500 form. However, with home health care, there are projections that have to be made, and a piece that's built in there called OASIS. So if you know anything about home health care billing, there's some key elements that you need in there that are not in iClaim. So, but can it be billed? Yes. Does it have everything needed? No. But we have other opportunities for you to do that.
Okay, Michelle says, I'm currently in an entrepreneurial program, and I'm interested in this because here I am doing a feasibility study on this business, is seriously looking into this because what will be my competitive edge as a licensee compared with other billing companies? So what she's asking, I guess, Eric, is what is the competitive edge that our licensees have over what other medical billing companies have out there? And wow, it's almost too numerous to mention. The live demos is probably one huge advantage there. The technology itself is another one. Most billing companies use very antiquated software, so the technology is way behind on most of that.
Yeah, and I think one thing, and I don't want to lose anybody here whenever I say this, because it has to actually do with medical billing. And if you don't have a medical billing background, it may get a little not fully understanding, but let me just make it as simple as possible. One of the things is our big differentiator here is that built inside of iClaim is our clearinghouse. The clearinghouse is the key element to take those claims from the doctor's office electronically and process for each of the payers. So Medicare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, that clearinghouse takes them, formats them for each one of those payers. And all other billing systems out there on the market today, you have to be using a third-party clearinghouse. Our differentiator is that we own our own. It's built inside of iClaim. So to answer your question, Michelle, there's our big separator from everybody else. And that's where we can get those doctors paid in a shorter amount of time with less rejected claims.
That's right. Okay, let's see. Astrid says, is the software sold directly to doctors? Is the software sold through any other marketing avenues? No. Look, I'm going to put this back on the screen so you can see this. But folks, the software is private label, as you can see, for you as an ABS licensee under the name iClaim, and that's the billing side, the electronic medical claim filing side, and then the electronic medical records, which is what the doctor and his staff use there in the office to file, put everything in electronically for the patients. That is also private label as EMRX. Now, those are our brand names, and nobody else has those but our licensees.
All right. Wow, we're still going on with all these questions, and we could still get back to the other questions that we had.
Yes, let's go to Gene's here. Is it best to have a business name in place or tax ID number prior to the live training, or does ABS assist you with that? Gene, it all depends on how up to speed you are on doing that kind of thing. And if you feel like you can choose a name that's appropriate for your business and set up your tax ID number and so forth, you can do all that ahead of time. Some people do. But Eric, I would say most of them, don't you think, wait until they get to the class, because we do cover that in our training as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes you might want to wait, because not to say that anybody's name's not going to fit, but we do want to help you make sure that you don't put the word medical billing in there as part of your name, because we don't want you to sort of pigeonhole yourself and just seeing that that's all you're doing is just medical billing. There's some creative ways and some creative names that are out there in the marketplace that you can certainly do that. And then, Gene, you continue with your question, is there a cost to the technology partner to use the software? That's a great question. And, Patrick, do you want to take that on that question, and we can kind of tag team on that one?
Yes, just like every piece of software that's out there and all the technology that's out there, there is usually a monthly access fee for the doctor to be able to use that system. There is with our technology partners, but the way we teach you to present that to the doctor in your proposals and in your pricing is to include that as your monthly fee. In other words, you're going to have the doctor cover that fee. That's not something that comes out of your pocket at all.
Right, and so it's built in. The doctors are already paying. Let's kind of go through to really position this properly so that you can get a good grasp of it. Patrick, there's basically 4 things that the doctors are already paying for. Number 1, they're probably paying for some type of billing system. Number 2, they're paying for an electronic medical record system. 3, they're paying for that third-party clearinghouse. And then number 4, they're paying another piece of software called a patient portal access. So those are 4 major areas that the doctors are already paying for. And Gene, what you'll find when you do what's called a practice analysis, you'll find out that the doctor is paying much more just to have those 4 pieces, those 4 services, than what it's going to cost them, the doctor, to have iClaim and EMRX in their office, and including what you would charge them to do the billing.
That's right. Here's one. Let's see, from Michelle about the lifetime support. Is the lifetime support generational as I leave the business to my children? Absolutely. Your children could be a part of your business. Your business name will probably stay the same. And the lifetime support will always be there, because as long as those claims are going through our system, you see, again, we're making those fees on the back end that are paid to us by our partners. So, of course, we're going to continue to support you. We used to have support that was limited to, I think at one time it was a year, and then we extended it to 2 years. And then at some point I said, look, why don't we just extend it to them as long as they're licensees? We're making money on them. Let's support them. And that's what we've done.
There you go. It looks like we're kind of coming down to some of the last parts of the questions here, and then we can actually put up some of our other questions that have not been asked yet. But sure. Bernetta, you asked the question, is this software unique to ABS? And that's absolutely correct. You just saw that we've just got that those softwares are absolutely unique for ABS.
Here's one on the screen here, but before I even get to that, let's address the one that Al just put in. Can you walk me through the process of getting paid once the provider agrees to hire me?
Absolutely. You can actually get paid from the time that you present the doctor the proposal, because part of one of the areas that we teach you is to get what's called a setup fee. So that setup fee should make sure that you cover almost 3 months of you taking care of that doctor. And then once you've got that doctor starting to do their claims, then that doctor will start getting funded through those payers. And then in iClaim, you'll run a report on what you've collected for that doctor on a monthly basis. And so once you've got that report, then you'll send that doctor an invoice to get paid. The doctor can send you a check. Or, however, there are some licensees that have been very creative where they can actually auto draft the doctor's bank account. So instead of sending an invoice, they just send them a statement saying, this is what we're pulling out of your bank account.
Yeah, and here's they give them access to the system so the doctor can go in and verify that, oh yeah, they bill this much and they're charging me this much on that amount, and so this, and they can do the math themselves and see that. Actually, what really happens, Eric, even though we give access to the doctors, is they go in maybe once or twice and that's it. They don't ever look again. They begin to trust the licensees, and the money's flowing, the rejection rate is lowered, and so they're getting more money in than they've ever gotten in before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now, all right, while we got a little lull there in the questions, let's put those back up on the screen here and address this one, because this one, we get a lot. Eric, why don't you take that one?
Yeah. What about any background training prior? Because every time that we got to start talking with some people, Patrick, some people said, "Do I need to go get a certificate? Do I need to be certified? Do I need to have a special license to actually do medical coding?" And so really, you don't need any background or training or prior experience to come in. And let's really clarify this: to be an owner of a medical billing company. However, although you're going to be doing medical billing and some of the coding portions that are going to be done through the system, to be an owner, you don't need to have any of this background, because ABS handles, number one, your background, because we've been around here for 20 years.
Eric, I would estimate that maybe in our training classes, when we ask that question, how many of you have some kind of background in the medical billing field? Less than 5%, maybe, or maybe less than that. Now, in the medical field itself, people who've worked in a doctor's office, there are a percentage, maybe even 20 to 30%. But most of the people have no background in anything in the medical field at all. Now, Eric did mention that we do certify you. At the end of the training class, folks, we actually give you a certificate, a certified medical revenue manager. And that is a unique certification done only by American Business Systems. It includes not only the week's training, but of course the ongoing continuing education that we give to licensees in our ongoing webinars that you'll have access to. Again, at no charge to you at all. That keeps you up to speed on what's happening in the industry.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to a few more questions. Michelle's actually asked a great question here, and she asked the question, are there any case studies in writing where a licensee increased the medical provider's income? We do have some case studies, and
yes.
And I would suggest that you also let's kind of segue from that to, let's have everybody, if you get an opportunity, go visit with some of our existing licensees. And the way you visit with them is just give them a call. One in particular that we were all talking about here at ABS last week was Rene Hermes. Why don't you talk a little bit about Rene Hermes and what he was able to do with one of the doctors that he did some billing for?
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Rene Hermes in
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, and where he actually increased the doctor's pay about 30%.
Oh, yes. He told us that. Rene actually stopped by our office, what was that, a month or so ago. And he lives in Chicago now, folks, but he had actually found a doctor referred to him by a doctor in Chicago in Houston, Texas. So that's the great thing about our business is you can sign up doctors anywhere in the United States. Well, he decided to fly down because this was a pretty good-sized clinic. So he went down and talked to them. He'd come back and talked to us and said that the doctor who had referred him to that doctor, he had increased his revenue by 30% and had basically salvaged his practice.
Yeah.
We've heard that before, haven't we, Eric, about license. Exactly. Literally, the doctor was going to go out of business had we not come in there and solved their cash flow challenges.
So, Michelle, what we're saying here is, don't take our word for it. Contact some of our licensees that are out there. We give you that opportunity to do that, and so feel free to give them a call. Patrick, you put up a poll here, so let's ask this question and let's people start following up with this and select this. Which one of the following would validate the business as real and not a scam? So start answering that question, and we'll put up this information as we go through here.
I think I've got the poll open. I don't see anybody. Oh, here they go. Okay, now.
Yeah, here they go.
Clicking on the screen there now. They had to get away from their email that they were entering and get back over here to our screen. We just like to find out what is it, folks, that would validate for you that we are a real company, that this opportunity is real. The only way you'll really know, of course, is to come to our live training workshop. But you have to make the commitment, of course, to invest and send the paperwork in and get here to the training. Now, the great thing is, as you'll see towards the end of the webinar here, is that we have a lifetime guarantee. That's on the support. The money back guarantee says specifically that if you come to our training and at any point decide this is not right for you, you get all your money back. So, folks, you don't really have anything to risk. But I know that's at least something people have to decide to do before they find that out. But hey, we're getting some good responses here. So let's see what this ends up. Meanwhile, Eric, let's address that other statement there by that Dave. How do we know how to perform the actual service? I guess he's talking about doing the medical billing for the doctor. Maybe we haven't even addressed that today.
Yeah, matter of fact, Dave, the first day of our live training, we actually give you hands-on activities and actually producing and putting in a claim and going through all that information. So we actually show you that on our licensee support site. We've got step-by-step instructions on how to do that. So to actually perform the services, we have that covered in our live training workshop, on our licensee support site, and even some other videos. And often we have our trainer actually go through that information as well outside of our training classes as well.
Good. Well, here's the results to the poll. I'll put that up so everybody can see that. Look, the thing that people think would prove that we're real more than anything is visiting the home office and meeting the owners. And yet, Eric, isn't that the thing that's done the least? We don't have a whole lot of people that come to our live training that actually have shown up in our home office here in Texas, have they?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We mentioned that earlier in the upfront part of everything. You're welcome to come by and visit us. Again, we can certainly put the address back up there, but really, if we gave that to you, you may not be able to have a time to write it down right now. So just give us a call. We will certainly coordinate a visit with you to come by and meet with us.
Yes, we encourage that. Again, I think most people just maybe just trust you and I. Our faces are so honest, Eric, that they just trust us and come on down to the training figuring, well, I'll just get my money back if these guys turn out to be jerks.
well, part of, we know that not everybody can get away for however long it might take.
That's true.
And Patrick, you and I made this decision this year to do more video of what we're doing right here on our live webinar. Because certainly we want to reveal to you that we're just real people. We do show up here every week. We're consistent about what we do. And if you can't come visit us live, face-to-face, at least you can visit with us just about every week and get to know us here. So
yeah, this is about using technology. This is about as close to us as you can get. It's 3:53 right at this moment here as we're showing this live. So it's live. If you're watching the recording, of course, you don't see our live video here. It just records the slides that are on the screen last. But anyway, here's the point, guys. We are real, and you can come down and visit us if you want to see that we're real. But as you saw from some of the other results there on the poll, you can also talk to existing owners of our business, and you can see very easily on the Better Business Bureau here in Fort Worth, Texas, that we have an A+ rating. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, folks, you don't keep that A+ rating for 20 years if you're treating people bad and you're not doing what's right in today's marketplace. So anyway. Okay.
Matter of fact, let's think about this, Patrick. I mean, certainly, if you can't make it here, there's no reason why whoever you're talking to here at ABS, we can't schedule a visit, or you can schedule a visit with Patrick. Patrick, I think you've talked to a lot of people just over the telephone before they've gotten here as well. So
I'll do a call with anybody anytime they want to. If they have a video camera, they want to do a live chat through Skype or something like that, I'll be glad to do that too. Folks, we don't have anything to hide here. That's the good thing about telling the truth, is you don't have to worry about telling a lie now and then. So we're open to anything that you want to prove that we're for real. Here's one that's similar to that, or close to it. Al says, should I decide to transfer the business to a family member, is there a transfer fee? No. It's just that simple. Al, if this is a family member, then you can transfer the business. They can just continue running the business, basically. Let us know that you've retired or passed away. That'd be good that we knew who the new owners were, but no, there's no transfer fee there at all. Now, if you sell the business completely outside your family, you sell it to another person, and they take over your accounts and so forth, you have to build into that, if they want to come to our live training, a training fee. And your ABS rep can tell you more about that. But that's only if they wanted to come down for our live training and have the lifetime support transferred to them.
Well, Patrick, we've got about 5 more minutes here for the webinar, and I know we want to kind of wrap up with a few of these slides that we want to talk about. And one of them is, I mean, certainly we've got all these different questions we could have gone through, but folks, let me tell you, thank you. You have made this webinar today. As we've said, Patrick and I could have gone through a lot of questions that we had here, but folks, you've made this webinar, so thank you for participating today.
How many providers can one person handle, or how many claims can one person file? A handful, wouldn't you say, Eric? Isn't that a good number?
Absolutely, 5. And if you take the number of what we normally talk about, if you're doing billing for one doctor that's seeing 20 patients a day, 5 days a week, each of those claims being about $100 in reimbursement, and you're charging them about 6%, that return of what you're going to be getting is right around $30,000 to $35,000 a year. So you take that times 5, and you can see that with just a handful of doctors, you can certainly make a very good living.
Yeah, I would say most licensees would tell you, if you call some of our licensees, ask them how many how many clients did they handle on their own before they had to hire somebody else. It's usually 5 or 6. That's a good round number. Yeah. And as far as the number of claims, folks, again, ask our licensees. Don't take our word for it. Ask them, and they'll tell you that it takes less than a minute to put a claim into our system. So how many claims can you do in a day? Oh, not over several hundred. You probably get bored and tired of doing the data entry after several hundred of them, but you can do a lot in a day's time if you're willing to. Look, I tell people, if you just put in as much time in this business as you're putting in for your current employer, you're going to do a whole lot better in life.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt.
Here's one that people ask a lot. How do I get the data from the doctor's office?
Yes, the data can come in actually two different ways. One is directly from the electronic medical records platform, which is our EMRX. That'll come directly into the iClaim platform. However, if their doctors are still doing paper, as we're showing here on the screen, they can scan that into the system. There's a document management system built in, or you can use the iDocs Now system to scan that information directly into the into the system there for you to retrieve it, and it is all HIPAA compliant.